Welcome back to Project Ozone 3 KAPPA mode. Up there you can see that I've already started constructing the Astral Sorcery area, and it's going to be temporary, but it will get us going until we get to later. So with that in mind, we're going to need to construct just a luminous crafting table, the first one available, and also a resonating wand, which is not terribly hard to make. It says plus starlight, but that doesn't seem to matter when you're making it with the storage scanner, so it's straightforward to actually make, and there is a second recipe for it anyway without starlight, so why that's there I don't know. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the Astral Sorcery area, and let's go up. Here we go. So we'll just pop this down here, and just like Blood Magic, this does have a multi-crafting sort of system, multi-block system, sorry, for the whole thing, but not to get started. To get started, you're just going to need the luminous crafting table and the resonating wand. And of course, the sort of progression you're going to need to get to is moving up through, and at night time, you'll see how much starlight you have here. You're going to move up the progressions of the various tables. So what's this one called? Luminous crafting table. So luminous. There we go. If we could do the right click on that, is it that for the next tier? No, it isn't. So let's just look for Astral. Let's just see what awful modifications they've done for these. So Starlight Crafting Altar is the next one, then Celestial, and then Iridescent is the top tier one. So if we have a look at Starlight Crafting Altar, we need to basically make a tuned rock crystal, or a regular rock crystal of any kind, some marble pillars, chisel marble, and liquid starlight. So we need some liquid starlight to get started. And a liquid starlight, there we go. That means we need light wells, so we need to craft a light well or two, and it converts over things like resonating gems, which is modified aquamarine, or just regular rock crystals, over into liquid starlight. So light well it is, and that just takes a rock crystal, a couple of aquamarines, and some marble. So do we have to craft that in? Do we have to craft that in this? We do. So yes, it's a good point to go to the Lost Cities. Go and collect as much marble as you can. The marble is straightforward to actually gather. You see, I've gathered some here from some Astral Sorcery structures over there. And there's some rune marble, some chisel marble. I've got some columns, so pillars, etc. And even some regular raw marble as well, just for construction. That's all good, and some sooty marble will do as well, and then we'll maybe make a chest or so. Do I have any chests in the system? I have a few. Let's just put a couple up there, and we can have, and we need some other bits and pieces, don't we? We need some aquamarine. I've got some there, but there's some in the system too. And what else is it? Rock crystals. I've got lots of them, and they're cluttering up the system just by getting them from various other things while mining. Fine. So let's head up. There we go. And now we just need to assemble that. So can we click them in? We can. And then just right click it with the resonating wand, I think. And, okay. They fixed the particle effect when I have night vision on. It used to be black, the opposite effectively of what you actually wanted. But there's our light well. And of course we can use that to convert. So a rock crystal, I think. Yep, it's going to convert over into, quite nicely, liquid starlight. Of course, we need a bucket and other things, so let's just put down a couple of chests, just so I've got some storage space available for that kind of stuff, and leave the resonating wand up here. I'm going to want a few of these and get it converted. We may have enough starlight during the daytime to do it, but if not, then we'll have to wait for nighttime again. But this will slowly work its way up. Eventually, the rock crystal will break, so having a lot of them is a good idea at the start, and you can see it's not going to take terribly long for me to get a bucket worth. So yeah, off to do a few things off camera. Okay, a couple of other things going over here. I'm starting to grow some celestial crystal clusters. You basically throw some stardust and a rock crystal into liquid starlight, the stuff you get from over there. And the stardust itself is easy. It just comes from basically stardust. It just comes from the ingots you can make it from by the pulverizer, and the ingots you can get from the star metal ores that you find out in the world. So Lost Cities and Deep Dark, they have them. And they grow these clusters. Well, it transforms into these clusters. The clusters will grow over time, and you need the top level of them. So it's the celestial, these basically. Celestial crystal. There is no sort of recipe for them. They have to be grown and only broken when max size. So you've got to be a bit careful about those. But you can just make new ones around your platforms. and leave them going. Over here, I've got a typical singularity tank going with a couple of liquid light wells, you know, transforming rock crystals. I've got 5 buckets of liquid starlight in there. Are you now ready to transform? Let's give you a go. No, you're not liking that so far. That's full, so maybe it's not gonna. Maybe there's not enough starlight. That's not great. I don't really have much more mechanism to actually do that right now. At least not without flying around with a Fluix resonator anyway. So, 1 second. I know it just wasn't quite nighttime. So now it should transform this existing altar, I think I remember rightly, transforms into the next tier up. And that's where you need to start actually changing the floor out. There's different patterns for that. And that's where we may need the book, Astral Sorcery book. I may already have that somewhere. If not, it's not hard to make. Astral Tome, do we have in the system? Astral... No, I thought we had that somewhere. Anyway, the next altar is there, so we do need to look up the next sort of block pattern. So I guess we should make this anyway. Pure crystal is a bunch of stuff. Okay. Basic crafting, tier 1. Any crystal will do, and then just void catalyst, it looks like, which is more torchberries. So yeah, off I am, go back to the Twilight Forest, or I could just look it up online. Which will I do? I may have just remembered. Yes, let's call it that. Marble arch around the outside like this, and marble bricks, then sooty marble, and sooty marbles underneath the altar as well, and then these 2 pillars with a chisel marble on top. So yeah, it doesn't get larger than this, so you are going to want the extra space, but this is at least the starting sort of structure for the next tier up. And you can see this, it would light red here if the structure wasn't correct. So if you are getting red, it just means you haven't got everything in the right place yet. And then this is the recipe essentially for the next tier up, which is the Celestial Altar. And that needs a rock crystal and star metal ingot. Of course, the star metal you're going to get from the ores that you find underground. Normally, I think in a normal sort of pack, I think you have to transform them from iron ore. I remember you having to do that in Sevtech, but not sure on this one. Anyway, needs to wait till nighttime again, ideally close to midnight, so you can see it transform to the next tier up, assuming we have enough starlight here. I'm at Y level 1, 2, 3. I think it maxes out like 1 to 8 or something like that. So, or as close as you can up here. Yeah. So I could move it up further if we need to, but in the meantime, it should be okay without the need for extra dense starlight patches on the ground, which of course we don't really have in the void. So yeah, and these are growing quite nicely, or at least randomly, but nicely, and we'll harvest them once they're done. And as day turns to night, we're heading towards this next tier. So that looks like it's now ready, and it's now crafting upwards. While that's going on, what we're really heading for is this crystal clusters. There's 2 of them, and you need them to make the ME controller, so having those be able to be made takes the Iridescent Altar. There's other things as well that you're going to need, but that goes through Astral Sorcery, but that's one of the main aims to really get to digital storage. Everything else is sort of stuff we're almost at, so yeah, it's very useful at least to have that upgraded. This should now upgrade us to the Celestial Altar, which again won't work until we craft the upgraded sort of structure around it, I think, if I remember rightly, for using it. So that's going to take a little, well, not very long at all. Once it's done, we'll upgrade the multi-block. There's a structure for the next tier up. Ignore the white lamps, they're not essential. There is a way to make like a luminescent powder that you can use in Astral Sorcery, so you get a light source. But for the moment, these are going to do fine. So you can see out here, there is the marble from Astral Sorcery. It's in an L pattern underneath this pillar. Then we've got bricks around the outside. Do all of that. Rune marble underneath the pillars. And then on top, just like before, this central platform was expanded to 7x7 of sooty marble. So everything now should be around. What we need to do for the next tier is, first of all, grab some more starlight. And then we can't actually make this yet because we don't have the resonating gems. And they're only made by making this, the whatever it's called, starlight infuser. That's it. It has its own multi-block structure, which is quite a lot, quite decorative actually. And we need some more starlight for that, but we've got all the ingredients for it. So it's going to take another structure of around about this size with more marble to get that going. And you're going to need liquid starlight around it, and the liquid starlight gets used up. So do bear in mind when you're actually doing that, you might want to swap out your singularity tanks. And that's building up in there. So it's all right. These are 2 buffers for the moment. but you might want to swap that out. You're going to need, I don't know if I remember, maybe 20 or so buckets, something like that anyway. So we'll construct that next, once it's nighttime, and then we'll be able to build the rest of this up. Okay, I was able to craft that, but I did need to move the entire platform up by 4 or 5 blocks. I'm now 128, so this is the maximum height and the best you can get without actually additional add-ons. So in here now we have, unfortunately, the problem that I don't have enough starlight. Now I did craft the infuser, as I said, and here's the multi-block structure. It does take only 12 buckets of starlight. But every time you actually do something with this, it has a chance of using one up. So you do need a replenishing store of starlight just to keep yourself going. And with that, you're able to transform aquamarine into the resonating gems. Everything else in here is fine. These celestial crystals are the ones that were there, so I can grow some more now. I do have another one spare, actually. Yeah, there's another one here. They do have other uses. Yeah, you could turn them into starlight, but don't. just don't ever do that. And then there's other things that you can actually get through here. So one of them is obviously the Iridescent Altar, the Illumination Wand, other bits and pieces that you might look through. I think one of the next things, however, is to get more starlight. Now, if I remember rightly, it's something like, and it's dropping now because we're hitting towards daytime. It's something like, I think the lens or the spectral, the lens or the prism lens. I forget which it actually is, but this seems reasonable for me to try. And I'll do that probably when I can get more stuff. So I'll craft them off camera, and I think I remember you have to put these like 16 blocks away from your starlight crafting altar, something along those kind of lines. So yeah, I need to do a bit of experimentation and get things running. So I'm off to do that. And of course, being me, I made the wrong kind of lens, but now I've got them up and running. About 15 or 16 blocks away from our main altar, I've got down spectral relays, 4 of them. The spectral relays have a plain glass lens on them. Basically, what you'd say if you want, well, you can make it in the main altar, but you can also just infuse them now that you've got an infusion altar. If you want to just make one, you can just do this, and then right-click with your resonating wand, and it'll turn it into a plain glass lens. You can then put those in the spectral relays, and I've got 4. If you put these too close to each other, within 16 blocks of each other, they will get diminishing returns. So you don't want to have them too close, but other than that, we now have this altar, which has a huge amount of starlight before it stopped here in midway at midnight, halfway through. But right now, it should have everything it needs, I would have hoped, to actually transform. Once it hits max, maybe? That is the recipe. So maybe it just needs to wait a little bit longer. That's perfectly fine. And let's see if we can get it crafted to the next level. So that's the Iridescent Altar. Everything else should be done. Yep, there it is. It's ready to go. And off it goes. So this is basically the end altar as far as Astral Sorcery is concerned. And we have a lot of the structures in place now. So everything is good to go. And now we just have to wait for it to upgrade. And here we go, the multi-block has been upgraded. Largely the base platform is the same, which is good because you don't have to do any work there. And the upper section, all you really need to add is a couple of marble bricks there and there. And then basically these L shapes of 5 marble bricks. That's literally it. And ignore the white lamps, they're just for light sources for me. As soon as you get it right, you'll see this blue crystal start to float. And of course the red bar will go away. So now we're at the absolute top tier of Iridescent Altar, which is great. We can't yet make the crystal clusters though yet. I've got some of the ingredients in my inventory because we're going to need some pure Fluix crystals, another celestial crystal, and some spacious crystals. So for Fluix, I hope you all know how to make it, but if you don't worry. I'm here to give you obvious tips for obvious. That is basically to throw charged surface quartz, redstone, and nether quartz into a puddle, and hopefully your magnet isn't on. And you leave them alone for a minute, if I remember rightly, and they should start multiplying into Fluix. Of course, we want pure, not the regular kind, I think, for this. There we go. And for that, then we need to just basically convert them into dust, and then from dust, we combine them with sand. From memory, let's give it a go, see if I'm right. Okay, and we're just going to pulverize this first of all, so let's just get a few. Well, just one, in fact, would actually do. And is it just combining them straight away? Yes, it is. So Fluix Teeth. This item won't despawn, and then you just throw those into, again, water. If I remember rightly. Yep, water. And you leave them. Now, that's not terribly fast. So there is the crystal growth accelerators, and there is also mechanisms enrichment chamber that can make the whole process quite a bit faster. So you're probably going to want to actually do that. So the crystal growth accelerators, let's just see. Crystal growth, they are AE2, and there is a special AE2 stuff version to get that, and that's 6 of them. Okay, constants and gears, cheap enough. Fluix blocks, well, we can already make those now. Quartz glass, we can make those. Yes, that's just glass. And ME glass cable is quartz fiber, which we can make as well. So that looks like we can make all of those. That's no problem. The obsidian chest is just a diamond chest, which is upgraded through the various things. Reinforced servo, and that means, yeah, we can make everything. Whether it will actually accept RF, on the other hand, is something else. Or whether it needs its own system, like from the energy acceptor. Energy acceptor, is it called? I think it is. Acceptor. Yes, that takes in RF, and then we'll convert over. But again, iridium plates, which we can make from iridium, and I think I already have some iridium in the system. Iridium, not very much of it, but we have enough to get that going and convert over. So yeah, I have enough to get a crystal growth chamber built and hopefully powered. So I'll do that off camera, and if we have problems, then of course we'll have to come back to it. So that is the outer ring done, and you see where it says these 2-star metal and they're outside. I think that means that you have to put them on those spectral relays, and you have to put a couple near the altar. And during the crafting, a lot like Thorncraft, I think, you have to put those down when it actually happens. So we'll have to come back and look at that. And then this also has this Constellation, which I don't actually have. Is it tuned in here, or will it just take any? Well, we'll see. We'll give it a try. Spacious Crystal then is just going to take a couple of dull crystals and a couple of floating crystals, which means I'm going to need to go and do those research. Whereas my research book, hopefully in my backpack. Yeah, it is. Do I have any of them open? Usually I forget. Yeah, I need to do both of these, so off to do that. Okay, that's all done. I've crafted up the crystal growth accelerator, some cable, and the energy acceptor. So let's just go and grab our seeds back, which will have 1% of growth. That's wonderful. It's terrible. Let's just go and put this over here and hopefully improve that greatly. So we want an energy acceptor, and then I'm just going to put the crystal growth accelerator on top. That should actually work. So the AE2 power system is not running yet, and now it should be. Yep, it is, and it's sleeping. Let's just throw in our Fluix seeds, and that should actually start going. Yeah, look at that. That's much, much better. And let's just throw those in. So that should get us the pure Fluix that we actually need to then craft basically a couple of these. And I'm going to need a couple of star metals, and then we'll see where we need to go. I need to also make some more of these Spectre relays, just to basically contain these items. So yeah, off to do that. And hopefully this will craft into 2 of the things we need for an ME controller. We need some other bits and pieces too, but the engineering processor doesn't look too hard, although I have to get... Where do I get the presses from? Because I don't see any meteors. Press. Inscribe a calculation press. Can I craft in center meteorites? Yes. Around the world, but that's not really something we do right now. Pure Certus Quartz and Certus Quartz seeds, which is back to Britannia again. Crystalline seeds from Agrocraft, Mana Diamond, and more intermediate essence. Wonderful. So yes, plenty of steps to still go in Britannia. Next up, Constellations. The part of Astral Sorcery and a part of your mob farm will be getting lots of this constellation paper. The majority of it is pretty useless as far as I know anyway. But occasionally you will get a constellation paper that doesn't say there's nothing here. It will say one of these: Visio, Dissidia, Evorsio, Evitas, and there is also Amara, I think. Yeah, Amara. I don't think there's any others in here. No, all the others say there's nothing here. They are actually other things, though. So although I throw some of these away to keep cleaning them out, Some of these you can't access until you're actually sort of further into the pack. So I leave the majority of them. I just make sure I clear out enough to. Yeah, I've got another box full here, basically, that says there's nothing here at the moment. Anyway, so we'll see what they say later. Anyway, I've got 4 of these, and if you go through here, for example, one, this is green. I'll show you why it's green in a minute, but if you have a look at it, it shows you the constellation, and it shows you what phases of the moon, basically, that's available in the sky, nighttime sky, so pretty much all the time. And once you've actually looked at all of these, you're able to then see them in the sky, as far as I understand. And there's 3 types of these constellations. Strong ones, which are these ones, the medium ones, and then the dim ones. And, well, it's daytime right now, so that's not going to help. But you're going to need to actually get that done. Now, if you don't have these, or haven't got them from your mob farm, or been discarding them, you can craft them. They're here, for example, Decidia. There is just loot bags, which is how we got them, but you can craft them in your Iridescent Altar now we're at that tier. Of course, anything that appears outside this center 5x5 grid is something you need to put into spectral relays, so do be aware from that point of view. I think the only one I don't have is Almara. I think it's Almara. Yeah, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, hang on, 5. Yeah, just 5, and I've got 4, so it's clearly going to be Almara. So I'm going to need to do specifically this. So let me just put that up into favorites. So it's straightforward stuff. Parchment is straightforward again. You can craft that in a regular crafting grid, and then you can get the constellation paper. Now, once you've got the constellation paper, you then want to craft yourself a looking glass. It's in here somewhere, I think. Ah, there it is. Looking glass. And or a telescope. The looking glass is enough for the first tier, the strong ones. And at night time, look up. And if I just look up now, you can't see a thing. Yeah, unfortunately. But you will see stars. Don't panic, because you have to draw out these constellations on the stars. But don't panic at the stars you see initially. Just pan around, and occasionally you'll see stars moving in the opposite direction in the foreground. And those are the constellations. So you have to draw them out according to these shapes. And you'll only be able to get to these shapes initially anyway. You can always look at them up online and put them on the second monitor or something. And eventually you'll actually get them all. So that just needs to be done at night times. So bear that in mind. For now, I'm going to craft the other constellation paper. And then I'll have all of them available to me to draw out. Lastly, I was going to say, the new multi-block you're going to need is this one. It's even larger than the others. It's 15 by 15 Sooty marble, surrounded by marble arch and the usual arrangement of pillars, except this is 3 pillars tall instead of 2, and the achievement altar. This will turn into a screen eventually that we'll be able to attune ourselves. But before we get to that point, you can do it by holding constellation paper near this at night time, if I remember rightly, but it's been a while. However, I want all of the constellations first. The one I'm going to probably end up choosing, however, is this Decidia. It has lots of benefits for attacking mobs, basically. The Almara gives you lots of defensive ones. Vicio is a speed improvement, which I already have speed improvements, so I don't need that too much. And then these, I can't remember which way around they are, but one's like a plant, a growing sort of fertility one, and the other one is sort of mining and lets you randomly turn stone around you to different ore types. And rather than that not to happen to my base as I'm walking around, maybe that'd be really good to get ore types that aren't available normally. But I think I just want to go for the regular sort of mob killing one. Once you get attuned with them eventually, you'll then get access to the next tier of constellations and the next tier, and eventually you'll get to the one here that we actually want to use. So very worthwhile actually doing this whole process. Okay, so well, not just worthwhile, you have to go through the whole process. So I'm going to wait till nighttime, go and get those constellations, and I'll see you once I've got a few. Okay, the city is now up in the night sky. We can look at it like this. There it is. Okay, I've already done that, and you can see I've got the paper in my left hand, and I have some spectral relays in my right hand. So you can see if you actually zoom out from the structure, it wants basically to put spectral relays in certain points. So one there. Let's give this a go. There. So if I get these right, I've got to get them close enough to these points. And maybe there. Is that right? maybe one there as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, maybe. There we go. So now it's attuning me, the player, with Dissidia, which is all the attack bonuses, or the tree that has all the attack bonuses. So that's pretty cool. And once that's done, we should then get access to the next dimmer set of constellations. But you need to use the telescope to actually see those. Now that that's done, you'll see that the recipes over in JEI have now changed. You'll see there's there's nothing there. Our normal ones, Dissidia, Amara, Visio, Evitas, and Evocio. But if you keep on going, you see there's now a new set. Lucerna, Mineralis, Horologium, which is the worst one in the world to actually find in the sky. It only appears every like 30 odd days. Octans, Boots, Fornax, Pelotrio, Gelu, yeah, etc. So we've got all of these potential ones to actually get going. The one we're looking for the ME controller bits, this crystal cluster, is Octans. So let's have a look here. Yeah, okay, so obviously loot bag, and you otherwise can craft this. That's not the right one. It doesn't go to the right recipe when you click on them, unfortunately. You have to actually scroll through and get to it. So yeah, Octans, Mineralis, Horologium, Octans, there we go. So fish, lots and lots of fish, and other bits and pieces. But you can craft the actual constellation papers just like before. So it's just a process of crafting them, or indeed you can wait till they appear in your mob farm. But I don't see any here that I can actually use. So fine, we can go and do that and probably throw away those papers, since we're not going to need them, but I'm going to keep them just in case they're needed. But yeah, we'll get there. So I'm off to now. You can only use basically this to spot them in the night sky. You can't use your looking glass anymore for the next tier, so that's going to go away in the chest and not worry about it anymore. One other thing here, all of the constellation papers in your mob farm, if you look at them in the chest, they don't say there's nothing here. However, if you pull them back into your inventory and then push them back into another chest, when you pull them into your inventory, it rechecks them and unlocks them again. So actually getting the other constellations isn't much of an issue. Just bear in mind you need to go through your mob farm, so don't throw them away like I was about to. I was picking them up to throw them away when I discovered them all. So yeah, that's much easier than crafting them. So yeah, do use your mob farm. And now with Octans in the sky, I can align the whole altar to it, and also it should align this crystal so that I can use that to influence the crafting on the other side of things. So let's just do that. I'm not sure if these crystals get used up, so I've got 2 available because we need 2 of these blocks. So there's 1. Okay, and I'll just go and grab that. And whoops, let me just get hit in the air and miss. Oh no, there it goes. All right, so it's going to craft that again, and we should then go and hopefully, yep, tune to Octans. If I go over here and put this in this crafting altar, I should. Yep, there we go. So we've attuned this altar now, and if I just grab all of you in here, I think, if I just go to this recipe and then click them in, that has enough to actually craft this. We do need 2 other star metal ingots as well, however, and we've got 2, so that's perfectly fine. Which means the only thing I need left is the wand. Where's my wand? There we go, to trigger this off. Okay, and it's crafting. Good, you can see the constellation on the floor. Very, very nice sort of mod for this kind of interaction. I quite like this large multi-block interaction sometimes, especially Astral Sorcery. It's just very nice, to be honest. It reminds me of Thorncraft again with these external things that you have to actually put in place, and there's one. And the other one will probably pop up here in a minute, or maybe just here. There we go. So that's one of the 2 blocks we actually need, and of course we're going to need a second one. I'm not sure if I've got all the materials for a second one. No, I'm missing star metal. And still, of course, star metal is stuff that you just find in ore form for the moment, and I don't have any more in the system. So, unless I've got some down here. Do I have any more star metal? Ooh, I do have more star metal. Yeah, can I have... no, not engineering blocks. Can I have that? And another couple of star metal here? Yes, I can. Good. Okay, so I can craft 2 more. And then we have 2 of the blocks we need for an ME controller. There we go. So that's that done, and that's basically the Astral Sorcery that we need to get the ME controller. so I don't need to do anything else for now. And it looks like the crystal didn't get used up. Did it get drop in strength or anything? Not appreciably that I could see. So yeah, you just have them around, and I'll leave mine in there. So same thing applies with the telescope. You just right click on it and you look for the larger stars that are greyish, and they'll appear in the foreground. You won't be able to see the parallax like before, but you will be able to see them and then just check them against the actual various different shapes. So yeah, we've got 2 of these crystal clusters, and they are used for the ME controller, so that's nice progress. So that's Astral Sorcery done for today. I think that's a good point to end the episode. We've got pretty much all the way through the mod. I haven't shown the sort of perks. We need to probably craft the book to be able to look through those and stuff like that. But everything else you don't actually need the book for, it seems, and that's good because the book is a bit annoying to get through through Lordcraft. So anyway. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. If you did, give it a like down below. Of course, you can always subscribe and click on the bell for notifications for more episodes like these. And if you've got any questions or suggestions, feel free to put them down in the comments below as well. Otherwise, thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.